UCTV is back. Another year, maybe a little bit more different than normal years, but we are back, and this time we are talking about soccer. I'm Josh Schlactus, and alongside me is Sebastian Garay-Ortega. Sebastian, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. How you doing there at stores,
I'm,
man?
I'm doing really good. We got some breaking news coming out the last couple of days. Messi, one of the greatest players in the world, honestly, the greatest player in the world. You can argue with Ronaldo, but one of the greatest players of all time. Not going to be in Barcelona for much longer. What do you think about it?
Yeah, he definitely is not going to be at Barcelona. And I think that it is a tragedy on the part of the Barcelona board on the fact that Bartomeu, who's the president, along with his goons, I mean, you could call them compatriots, but I think they're goons who don't know, who are wasting the last years of Messi's career, he could have stayed at Barcelona, but they are too arrogant and they don't know what they're doing. Bartomeu has said he's not going to resign. They're going to fight the fact that he's trying to let's bring a little bit of context into this quickly.
Mm-hmm.
In his contract, it said that on June 10th would be the last day that he would be able to request to leave to another European club or whatever club he wanted to go on a free transfer. That expired. Messi says because of the COVID-19 pandemic that should be extended. They're going to take it to court. Apparently, FIFA said they will side with Messi. Man City say they will fight it to the end too. I think this is inevitable, but this is a tragedy on the part of Bartomeu and the Barcelona board as a whole. Josh,
Yeah, it's a tale of two egos. I mean, it's
Yes.
a very, very bad breakup, I guess, for what was an incredible career that Messi had there. He played 16 seasons at Barcelona. And, let's not let this end kind of overshadow what he's done there. He's been the greatest player in the world. Him and Ronaldo have been that 1-2 the entirety of his career there. He spent 16 seasons there, won 6 Ballon d'Ors there. I mean, on top of that, he's won 10 La Liga championships in those 16 years, while Ronaldo was at Real Madrid for the majority of those years. I know we were talking before about Ronaldo and Messi's battles over the year. What do you have to say about that, Sebastian?
Yeah, definitely, man. Those battles are historic. I think one of the most historic ones that I can recall was, I believe it's 2017 when Messi wins it at the death, 3-2 at the Bernabeu, a ball from Jordi Alba. It was an amazing goal at the 90th minute.
That was a great goal.
And yes, it was a good goal. And I also, going to your point, his titles have been underappreciated. His La Liga titles, his La Liga run with Barcelona, he's been able to win multiple La Liga titles over Ronaldo for consecutive periods. Of course, this year they basically choked the lead and Real Madrid won, but Real Madrid were the better team. But regardless, we should remember how good he was during this period at Barcelona. It's historic, and it should be remembered that way. Now,
he was truly incredible throughout his entire tenure there. And
yeah,
as you mentioned this year, Real Madrid, in all honesty, was the better team, and that's a large reason why Messi's leaving. The team around him just has not been the same in the last few years. Since, of course, we've seen that Messi won his Champions League, his final of his 4 Champions League victories in 2014-15 season. And speaking of that 4 Champions League victories, I mean, most people would say that wasn't a failure of the club, and it wasn't then. I'd say, obviously, things have kind of gotten worse now, which is why he's, looking to go to Man City, which, let's talk about Man City here, his next phase, his next journey. Obviously, he's been great on Barca, but what can he do on Manchester City, a team that has just been so dominant in everything but the Champions League?
definitely. And that is one of the main reasons they brought Pep in, right, to win the Champions League, and they have failed at that task about 4 years in a row. Now we could go Monaco, Tottenham. I'm sorry, Monaco. I'm missing one. Monaco, Tottenham this year with Leon, and I'm missing one more.
Yeah, I'm honestly, I'm not going to get there, but I'm not going to get the 4th one there. That was a few years ago, and I'm kind of blanking on it as well. But what I will say, just going to put out a disclaimer, Tottenham was a little ridiculous. Tottenham was ridiculous.
Tottenham
VAR was less than an inch offsides.
Tottenham, I will give you that. I'll give you that. Tottenham was pretty ridiculous. I believe it's very difficult to say, but going back to the point about Messi,
so close. I mean, it could have gone either way.
It could have gone either way. Now Messi, what could he bring to this team? It's kind of difficult to say. I mean, City have so many star talents. Of course, so many world-class players. I know Messi's on another dimension, but I really don't see how different this team could play. Messi's 33. He'll bring a very good aspect. He's going to make the team even better. And I think we're going to have to see first how he adapts to the Premier League type of play. I'm not one to believe that he can't perform at this in the Premier League in England, which is said to be more physical. I don't believe that, but we're still going to have to wait and see. They have Kevin De Bruyne, who's going to be staying, Raheem Sterling. They have a lot of talent, Phil Foden. So, of course, he brings it to another dimension, but I don't know if he really is going to get them over that hump. I think, and sorry, Josh, just one last thing. I think that his mentality, it's all about mentality. This club, Manchester City, about 20 years ago, were in the third division. About 10 years ago, we're in the second division, and we're fighting to stay in the Premier League. They don't have the mentality of a big club that can win these games. So, Josh, what do you think?
So here's the thing about what Messi brings, and I like how you're talking about mentality. He brings that mentality. He brings a championship mentality. He's done it in Barcelona. And the thing about Messi is that he can fill in many different spots. Obviously, City is massively stacked with their forwards. They got Aguero, Sterling, Foden, Jesus. They got their middies and De Bruyne. But you want to tell you who's not their midfielder anymore? David Silva. Incredible career he had, but he is now retired from Man City. No longer going to be there. And that, I think, opens up a secondary spot for Messi. I think what they can do and what Pep, I think, is going to do with Messi is he's going to take Messi and he's going to use him at number one, his wing spot. So obviously where he was in Barcelona, he played the wings. He pushes up the wings a lot. And Pep is known for that kind of offense, pushing up the wings. And imagine that, Raheem Sterling with Messi on the wing and either Jesus or Aguero or Foden or someone else in the center just helping those guys out. That would be incredible. In addition, they could play him at a false nine spot, kind of that center position a little bit further back, not truly a striker, but a big facilitator from the top center. And that, I think, could be a really good position for him on some games when, Aguero's not in and you can play Messi there and you can have Sterling, you can have Jesus or Foden out on the sides. Or they could put him in the midfield where David Silva was and kind of have him assisting and helping out with De Bruyne's role. So they have two absolute superstars in that midfield with their offense going up. Because let's not forget how incredible of a playmaker Messi can be in addition to his scoring. I don't think finding a place and finding a way for Messi to fit in is going to be an issue at all for Pep. I think what Pep's going to have to worry about is the system that he plays around Messi, the system that he kind of implements Messi in so that the chemistry flows freely, especially in a time like this where, we don't know the next time they're going to start playing again. So, yeah,
definitely. Just to respond to that quickly, I believe that, like you said, Messi. Messi was born and bred into this possession game, tiki-taka, you might call it. It's kind of adapted a little bit with Pep, but for the most part, it's remained the same. And I feel like the main thing that's going to determine if they win the Champions League, I believe it really isn't Messi. It's going to be down to two things. They have to fix their defense, which has been awful. I mean, the two center backs, they've just not been performing at a level. Aymeric Laporte made a crucial mistake in the game against Leon. Otamendi hasn't been performing that well. He hasn't really played as a center back. Fernandinho's basically a center mid who's been converted to a center back. They need to fix their defense, and they also need to fix their Pep needs to fix his. He sometimes falls victim to his own mind because he overthinks stuff. He overthought the Leon game, put three at the back. He's overthought multiple Champions League games. All he has to do is just get the team over the hump. And if that means playing ugly and winning, it's going to be what it is. But he always wants to play pretty and wants to win pretty. And sometimes, you can't win pretty, Josh. I mean, you know it better than me, I
completely agree with that. Their defense has been their weak point, obviously. You talked about Otamendi. You talked about Fernandinho playing defense. I mean, when Fernandinho is playing defense, look, he's a great midfielder. It's been a rough transition compared to what Man City expects. They have added a couple pieces back there from the Premier League, other teams. I think it's going to be a work in progress, kind of that defense. But I think with the offensive firepower, the best defense is offense, is the way I think Pep's trying to put it. And so as long as they can hold a steady back four, and as long as Ederson keeps playing at the level he's at, I mean, he's one of the best goalies out there right now. I think they'll be able to capitalize on what they've already been so dominant in the Prem. They've already gotten to at least the quarterfinals time after time after time. It's really about pushing that extra boundary. It's about what can you get that pushes that extra kind of level, that gets you to the next level. And I think, what better way is there to get to the next level than bring in Messi?
Yeah.
And so I just want to move on, though, now that we've talked about Man City, to his deal and the 5 years, or not 5 years. I know you've talked a lot about that. So what is your take on, the NYCFC situation versus Man City?
Yeah. So, yesterday, the ESPN FC, which was the report I saw, there might have been multiple reports, but the one I saw was that it was going to be a 5-year deal. 3 were going to be in Man City, and he would be 36 by the time, 36, I believe, by the time he would go to the MLS for NYCFC. Of course, that's just a proposal. I was reading on Twitter just before we got on here that RAC1, which is a Spanish outlet, and TICE, which is an Argentinian outlet, said that Messi's father, Jorge, had just landed in Manchester and was beginning to negotiate with City over the transfer of course, his son. And so going back to the question about how this all is going to work out, I think City have an advantage over other teams in that City are the only major European club, I believe, but it's the truth, that have an MLS sort of branch, and not that they have any European any branch like across the world. I know Red Bull Leipzig in Germany, who made the semifinal, they have New York Red Bulls, and other teams have branches in other countries. But I believe Messi wants to finish his career in the United States. He's not going to go play for Red Bull Leipzig because they're not a real contender. He's going to go play for a contender that has a team in the MLS as well, so he can finish his career in the United States. And I think that's beneficial to both parties.
Yeah, I mean, Messi in the U.S., that'll be a very interesting once it gets to that. And I think, obviously, you mentioned it's definitely a big advantage that Man City has that connection with NYCFC, which, of course, kind of goes through the New York Yankees a little bit weirdly with that connection. It's definitely big. New York's a big city as well, biggest city in the world. So it's definitely a very large draw for Messi. So, yeah, Messi from Barcelona to to Manchester City, eventually possibly NYCFC. These are all rumors. Nothing's truly official yet, but obviously Messi has shown his interest. He has officially said that he wants to go to Man City. And, of course, you mentioned his father is there negotiating right now. So it'll be very big. Yeah.
I don't mean to interrupt you, Josh, but the last thing I read was from L'Equipe, and this was at 128, is that PSG said they will apparently PSG have said they're in a pretty tight economic situation right now, surprisingly, because, PSG, it's a money team. And they said Messi would be impossible. It would depend on either Neymar or Mbappe leaving the club. And right now, I don't see that happening. One last thing, I always come prepared, Josh. And this was the last jersey Mr. Messi won his Champions League and the treble that year with Neymar and Suarez. It's a day of mourning. Wow. It's a day of mourning for football fans. I'm not a Barca fan, but it's just sad to see this happen, Josh.
It's an end of an era.
It's an end of an era, definitely.
But yeah. Well, it was awesome talking to you. Ready to kick UCTV back off this year. I'm Josh Schlactus with Sebastian Garay-Ortega, signing out.